good. Also, looking at summer kids camp, this year we brought in about $16,000 worth of revenue. Compared to last year, it's right on par with it. However, this year we did have one less week, just because the school got out. So if you really look at it, we actually had a better summer than we did the previous summer. We also had a lot of returning staff, which we can credit a lot of it to. A lot of quality returning staff. Not to mention our site director, Kara Lemus, was back for her 4th summer. And she brings a lot of stability to the program, a lot of structure to the program. And there's a lot to look forward to. So going into next year, there's obviously going to be some changes since we don't have a pool going into next year. So we'll be renting out Highlands High School, and we'll be running the swim team out of it. And we'll be also looking into other aquatics programs going forward, and what we can kind of run out of that pool. First, we just kind of need to know the lay of the land around that pool. And for summer kids camp, we're going to be doing that as well here once again. And we're going to be looking into kind of just new, more affordable programs for residents in the area. We might do like specialty week camps. There's a lot of new potential that we're going to try and tap into. We're going to try to get more of the North Highlands youth involved in recreation programs that maybe they couldn't afford in the past. So, does anybody have any questions? No?
Your pool rentals really jumped up significantly.
Yeah, it's we had a lot of pool rentals. So maybe we had a lot of pool rentals just from whether it was schools, birthday parties. We also had churches rented out for baptisms. So we get a variety of different people coming through the pool this year. Yeah. Yeah, and this year we put it up on the signboard. I mean, as simple as that. People just driving by, they see it.
Are your signs too?
My signs. We had for swim lessons. Swim lessons did really well this year, especially at the start. And a lot of that credit is we put signs at a lot of parks. I'm sure you guys saw them driving by.
The word in placement is genius.
Yeah.
That is such a popular.
Everybody coming in, even working on McClellan Park, they go, everybody thinks everybody's sneak through. So, yeah, we got a lot of people, and I think a lot of the signs are big credit for that. Hopefully next year we can even have more of a presence at a lot of the parks with signs going up, and hopefully promote more programs out. Yeah.
It's really interesting because one of my students, apparently her mom recognized me from sitting at swimming lessons.
Right.
Over from there, and I'm like, but her younger brother went to, I guess, the summer camp, day camp, and then they both went to swimming lessons with her, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
But kind of says a lot, like people actually come here for
Right. We have
out of the way there, you know.
We have the signs also for summer camp, and we found a lot of new families that way. So it's encouraging, and we're hoping that we can retain the same families because we do see a lot of the same kids come back every year and enjoy it. They look forward to it.
Looks like you're going to be losing a key staff member on your summer.
We are.
Summer kids camp.
Kara has been tremendous for us. She was actually the very first person I ever hired, ironically enough, and she was great. But we do have a lot of strong staff coming back. For example, our site director right now, Jennifer, over at Raccoon Club for Ridgepoint. She worked there last summer. She's been with us for a few summers, and I know she could step in right away and keep the tradition going and the structure going. So we feel confident about where we're going in the future.
Mark, how do you feel about the transition to Highlands High Pool? How do you feel that?
I actually like the transition. I think for the swim team, it's going to be a better transition for them. They can dive into that pool. It's more for swimming. It's built for swim teams. It's going to be difficult for swim lessons. We still have to kind of look into how we can even do that. There's a lot of things we have to just evaluate going into it. But for swim team, I think it's actually going to be a bonus for us. Right?
Is the pool all,
It's
so shallow as 6 feet then?
It's 7.5.
It's 7.5. It's 7.5 universal. So all the way around.
We are looking at platforms, lessons platforms.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
those in a lot of
So, and it's gonna be, that's our challenge in the next couple months, have something in place for January as we start to budget for the next budget cycle. But no stone will be left unturned to figure out the best way to make that transition.
Yeah, that's deep to.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to get creative, to try to find the programs that we can run out of there. So we have some time to go over a lot of different ideas, but we're gonna put our heads together and hopefully we can come up with something.
The one that we probably will not be able to offer is recreation swim, because, you know, you get kids who cannot swim, and the water is extremely deep. That would be, I don't want to say impossible, but the type of challenge that we really don't want to have, because encouraging people to get in over their head is going to, where they don't have that safety net of being able to touch the bottom with their feet. That would probably tax the lifeguard staff, just trying to.
For sure.
Yeah, so, you know, it's not, as Scott Mark said, it's not a perfect situation. It's better in some regards, but in the others, we're working with what we have. I understand they're going to drain the former pool that we used last year. They're going to drain that anytime now. So they're actually shutting down that pool. So we don't have a whole lot of options at this point.
See, give and take.
But we will make sure the splash pad is working good. Keep the kids cool.
Yeah.
Pray for rain over the winter time.
We need some rain, so the
Splash
water
pad
is-
it's incredibly popular. I mean, I know my summer camp kids like it a lot, so it's very popular. Yeah, and your kids. So.
Well, you took on a new challenge this year, so congratulations on the successful program. Keep up the good work.
Great, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, at new business, item A, Capri, district visitation.
Yeah, I just want to share with you that you can tell from the report that we had the Capri come out a little bit more than a week ago, and by all indications, we will have a very favorable report. There's always room for improvement, but next board meeting will be including that packet along with our response back to Capri of how we will address any issues that they highlight that we need to focus on in the next year.
All right,
Was it strictly facilities or was it parks as well?
Parks as well. Yeah, they spent about 6 hours out here with us, and normally I guess it's 3. I don't know if it's because I was new or if they wanted to see a lot of things, but it was good because I learned a lot about what they're looking for and what their expectations are, and where we are right now as far as collecting and what do you want to call it, cataloging, I guess, the information. And we've already started working on how we're going to be better prepared next year. So next year when I walk in there, it's going to be about 14 binders all lined up for them in order of what they want to see, and it should make the process go a lot faster. The staff did a great job retrieving items and documents, and I think we all think if we take this new approach, it's all going to be in place, because as we generate documents, we have the folders or the binders that they go into right away, so we're not going to have documents all over the place. They're all going to be centralized in one location.
All right, any more questions for Larry? All right, on item 10B, the receptionist office assistant recruitment.
We, staff conducted, Mark, Terry, and Scott conducted interviews today and yesterday. Interviewed 8 candidates, and they referred several to me for follow-up interviews, and we'll be conducting those next week. And hopefully by the next time we have a board meeting, we'll introduce you to a new staff member.
Right.
I should probably, you can see there, I put it in the Sacramento Bee, which was good because we got a lot of interest. But I tell you what, I don't know if I would have strangled Terry, but if she would come in every morning and give us all an update of how many more resumes and applications were waiting online for her. And it's like, we got a daily count,
Daily count.
312, 419. But you know, that's good. I mean, you know, that by getting more opportunity to get more people in, and again, the staff talked about it, they thought there were some really highly qualified people that were interested in, and all we need to find is one, and I'm sure we will. So kudos to Mark and Terry and Scott, because I basically turned over the process to the 3 of them. do all the heavy lifting, and all I get to do is get the best ones to look at, so.
And all the printing.
All the printing that went with this.
Any questions for staff on that? All right, next item, 10C Freedom Park softball complex site visit.
Mark and Scott and I and Sergio arranged a time to meet with Dennis Fong and his staff at the softball complex. And I have to be honest with you, it was a really good learning process for me, because I hear a lot of things, but I have not been here long enough to really absorb and kind of put in context of what things mean. And I would say Dennis spent the good first half hour of our visit giving us a historical perspective of how he started and so forth and so on. And then we literally, I think, toured just about every, not inch of the property, but we all the key areas in the building, the fields. We talked to Dennis about, we took the time to listen to what he had to say, all the time, keeping the key issues and questions in the back of our mind. We talked about some solutions that he needs to really look at, that we will address in his upcoming new use agreement. But overall, I came away with it having a lot better understanding of he actually has quite an enormous business going out there. If you want to just look at it simply to say that he runs softball tournaments, I would say that that's yes, that drives everything else, but there's a lot more going on out there than I certainly was aware of, and that I would have figured out without being out there, visiting with them. So Mark and Scott certainly could comment if they like, but for me, I walked away with seeing a much more finite picture of what's going on out there, and I think that's really beneficial for me as we tighten up and prepare a draft agreement for the board to consider before we go further with the relationship.
Would you like to comment?
Sure, please.
Please.
No, I think touring the grounds, I went there a long time ago when I was a kid. It's different now, but he's created other ways of generating revenue that I'm not sure we were necessarily aware of prior. So it was very much a good learning curve to find out what is going on at the complex and how he does bring in extra revenue besides just team registration fees and so forth. So, in that way, it was a good way of also seeing how he operates his business on a day-to-day basis. And that was something that I wasn't aware of prior. So, yeah, I think we learned a lot.
Nothing bad.
Any questions? All right, thank you. All right, item 11, payment of the bills. So, does anyone have any questions of staff about the bills?
What is it?
Center Unified, we pay them for
Oh, okay.
transportation.
Okay.
For some program, right?
For summer programs.
Right, no, that makes sense. Like, it's just a weird, that was somewhere.
They're looking great.
I'll take a motion.
Do you want to?
Motion to adjourn.
Otherwise, I will make
You're
it.
still up. I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, 3 ayes, 2 absent. This meeting of the North Highlands Recreation Park District, or the next meeting of the North Highlands Recreation Park District will be November 13, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. in the North Highlands Recreation Center, 6040 Watt Avenue, North Highlands. This meeting is adjourned.